Alright, welcome back to another league race, this time with DNS. This time we are in Hungary. The Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix, you could probably imagine. So, dry race, dry qualifying, so thankfully I could get to, what am I trying to say, use the strategy I want to use, which is not qualify on the ultra softs. That's what I wanted to do. I want to qualify on the softs, so we got the mediums, that host advantage, and we pop in a 17.7 there on mediums. Not too bad, to be fair. I think that was our second lap on mediums. It's going to move by quickly, by the way. And our lap on softs then, just a minute or so remaining in the session. Right now, ERS at the end there. Still did a 16.9 on soft, so I thought that wasn't too bad at all. So I was happy to take the hit in terms of grid position if it meant I started on the soft tyre. And there we go. Then you see the order of the grid there. So I felt optimistic heading into this one in terms of executing the strategy. I knew that Dan and Scuba were going to be quick, as well as Kira on trap. So it was interesting to see how it was going to go, because unfortunately Scuba never got going in the end because of his he did get going, but he got a new TV that day and I was acting up, so unfortunately he couldn't do this race, complete it rather, and Dan was starting at the back. So we've been happy with the podium heading into this one, honestly. But anyways, here we go then. 3 and 4 and 5 red lights, and away we go. Really good start, especially against these guys on ultra softs. You see Archie gets a bit out of shape there. That allows me to go through. I was already making ground up on these guys on ultras, so that just shows you how good the start was. File in gently. Again, patience is the name of the game here. Unfortunately, there was commotion behind. I was happy to sit where I was because I knew that in a few laps' time, these guys in front of me would be really struggling, and I was happy to wait because at the end of the day, it was a 35 lap race, and I knew that the strategy would come to me that these guys would struggle to do the one stop on ultras, if at all, if they might have to do the two stops. So just take them nice and cautiously and sit in behind and try and save some fuel and ERS if I could. Basically how I was approaching this one. So I think Swanee had to go and went for a move there, but that was interesting. Lap 3 then, moving on. You can see kind of where we're at. Still in we're in P3 because I think Trench, there was a Steve already came in, or he had an accident, I think. So VSC is deployed, so that means slow down, save fuel, basically. These guys made an absolute blunder by not coming into the pits during the VSC. They carried on, and their tyres going to struggle. Trench here is going to have a wobble. Puts Joe in a bad position, and that just allows me to slip through. So I knew Trench was really struggling, so I knew if I could get a good run out of the last corner, it would give me a good run down the straight. I'm using a 911 wings, which was, in hindsight, probably too much. Straight line speed was pretty woeful. You're going to see that now in a second, as of course, DRS is enabled this lap 4. So, and we're obviously very close behind due to these softs being much better now than these ultras this phase of the race. But you can see just hugging the apex. A lot of this opening season was nursing these softs, and we'll get to that in a bit. But anyways, we got coming around the final corner to get a good run, very good run. But even with overtaking DRS, excuse me, Trench goes defensive. We're only pulling alongside very, very slightly in terms of actually doing it. But then look at this, let him have the corner, and we're going to cut right back in then, and we're going to seize the lead that way. So that was a really nice switch back to get that position. Now I could start managing my race a bit more now. So Dan Morris is going to pop through. He's going to pass these guys as they head in for their stops, and there is by lap 6 that has already happened, and a gap to Dan is around, was it 3 seconds or so, 3.5? Yeah, 3.4. So literally this phase of the race, you can see me going to lean mix. It was all about preserving the tyres, the fronts and the rears, because this set of softs, I've had issues getting them to last 5 laps sometimes. So that's really what this phase of the race was, just going through lean in the fuel mix in the corners and the such, and really try not to push too hard, short shift through the gears, really just kind of preserve these softs for everything I could. And Dan was doing the exact same. Like he wasn't driving up to, he closed the gap a little bit, but he wasn't driving up to back me. He also wasn't pushing, doing the exact same thing I was doing. So I was happy enough to kind of continue doing that. I knew that penalties may be a factor, and I was doing also my utmost to try and avoid those as well. So kind of I left that space in there, so I explained all of that, basically the strategy, the what was going on this phase of the race, because tyre wear was really tyre wear and tyre carcass really important. See, my left front was getting a little hot there, so I was able to cool down eventually a little bit anyways. It didn't overheat. Lap 13 gap is 2.5 seconds, so again just trying to manage everything. By this stage though, I think by lap 11 or so, I was like, okay, I've saved these tires as much as I need to. Now I can kind of begin to push a little bit. I think Dan felt the same way. So lap 16 then, he's into the pits. He's going to try the undercut. I had 3 seconds or so by the time he came in, so I was like, okay, I'm confident that I won't be undercut here. So anyways, in we come. Lap 17, of course, just starting lap 17. I said mediums to go to the end of the race, and out we go. And you see Dan just rounding the final corner now. So thinking it was going to be close, but I always felt safe that I would keep the lead. The big thing is that he's got his tyres up temperature. I have not. These mediums obviously take a little bit to get up to temps, and that was one thing I had to worry about now. So, but thankfully I had the gap to kind of do that. Should I have pit lap 15? Probably should have, but oh well. It was really matter now. Down to lap 18 then. Gap is 1.2. So Dan was catching me on these mediums. I wasn't completely confident. I was just, again, I think I was trying to manage somewhat, and it wasn't looking great as if I was on the softs. And then as you can see now he's within DRS range, but with 9/10 behind, it's gonna be difficult for him to make a move into turn 1. So could I keep that for the time being? This is lap 21, lap 22. He's getting a little bit closer, 6/10 now, and I'm beginning to get a little bit worried. It's plainly obvious that his wings are a lot less than mine. I think he's around 7/11. Has to defend that now heading into turn 1. He's going to get a better run on traction because I've gone defensive. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to have to hold the inside and try not to let him drive around the outside. And thankfully I managed to do it on this occasion, lap 23. But getting a little bit more nervous, and I know he's got a 3-second penalty at this stage, but I wanted to keep him behind in case there was that threat. He drove away once he got by. Lap 23, I think this is as close as he's been, has he, for coming out of the final corner. The gap is just 5/10. I thought, oh, it's going to be tough. So I've gone defensive early here. Excuse me, braking then for turn 1. He's going to have the DRS for turn 2. I tried to park it, so he couldn't really get the launch. He got to step off the accelerator a bit, but I think I just didn't work. And he's going to drive around the outside. Just being so careful to race side by side. He's going to have the inside line, and he's going to take the corner, and that is us then into P2. So disappointed to lose the lead like that. But with the wings I had, again, the common theme was I was quicker around I think I was quicker through sector 2 and 3 than Dan, but just through sector 1 with the straights. I'll get back to this. I'll get back to that in a sec. So my TV randomly turned off just very, very suddenly, and I had to pause the game. I ended up unpausing it, wasn't on the throttle, and before it finally came back on. So I lost a second to Dan in that skirmish. So dropped out of DRS range. I would stay out of DRS range for a little bit. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I think I was quicker than Dan in sector 2 and 3, but because he was quicker down this main straight in sector 1, difficult to really make a pass or defend for that matter. So that was the big thing here. But the big key was I was able to keep it with him. So lap 29 now, we've clawed our way back into DRS. So the longer this went on, the more confident I felt that, okay, because I only had one warning at this stage. I was like, yeah, okay, we're feeling good. I think I can hold on to this. I just have to not get penalty myself. So that was the big thinking. Heading into this one, lap 30 now, 35, long ahead of the rest of the pack who had their own accidents and multiple pit stops. Lap 32, Dan goes a bit wide, and again, I'm not going to get close in terms of making an overtake, but I'm just like 6/10. See, when Dan was 6/10, he was closing right up, but I'm just running too much front wing to really get anywhere near with DRS. So, and this is the problem with Hungary. So again, quicker around the rest of the track, but not so much through where it really matters in terms of overtake. But thankfully I didn't have to make an overtake, because Dan has now 6 seconds worth of penalties, I have none. So I'm looking fairly good. But I never like races being decided by penalties. I'll take them obviously, but in my mind I always want to get by myself. So in these last two laps, Dan, his tires were a little bit older, and you could tell I was catching, like I was pushing, and the gap is now as close as it has been ever since I dropped behind him. So I definitely have a pace advantage at this phase of the race, but of course track position is key. It's one thing to catch and another to overtake. And again, this is a kind of similar range to Dan, where he was in my DRS, he was 5/10 and he was able to leap by me, but again I can't make any impression because of my high wings, and he's got lower wings. So I was hoping that maybe I could get a good run out of this quarter and maybe think about something into here, but that hope disappeared quite quickly, and this is the last lap now. So I was hoping I could get an overtake done. It's not going to happen, but I still have no penalties, so we're looking good here for the race win now. Penultimate corner I should say, and round in the final one. And Dan beat me on the track, but consistency is key, and penalties, boom, satisfying win indeed. Good stuff to Dan as well. Pushed me hard in that race, as I'm sure I did for him as well. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Big time result there. To avoid penalties at Hungary as well is a big one, because that turn 4, if you race Hungary, turn 4 can be quite the killer on entry and exit. It is like Australia in that sense. So to avoid penalties, I'm going to get one warning. That was big. I could have been faster in a sense if I'd pushed more through that section, but the time gain wasn't enough for me over the entire race to warrant pushing and the risk of a penalty. So yeah, a good race. Hopefully now next time Scuba can get involved and we can have a nice fight at the top, and I have no doubt that will happen. I still think this will be my last win for a while. I know I said that before this race outside, but it's going to be difficult, I know for sure. So that's going to do it. Next up is Belgium, so that should be interesting indeed. So good win from Hungary, but Belgium now, not too sure. So anyways, until next time.